Hi, I'm Professor K. I am a PhD scientist who spent nearly 30 years studying complex chemical systems. But 5 years ago, I gained 38 pounds in less than a year, and I couldn't sleep. I was walking into rooms forgetting why I was there. I was forgetting meetings, and my body stopped responding to everything that used to work. So I tried things that maybe you've tried. I tried eating less on a calorie restrictive diet. I tried adding more cardio. I cut carbs. I tried intermittent fasting, but nothing worked. In fact, everything made it worse. And maybe that's what's brought you here today, too. But here's what I finally discovered. Menopause isn't hot flashes or missed periods for perimenopause. It's a complete chemical recalibration of your entire body. Hundreds of thousands of variables, all interconnected and all changing at once. And unless you understand what changes and why, you'll need to keep trying strategies that worked when you were 20 or 30, but can't possibly work now with your new chemistry. So, in the next few minutes, I'm going to show you what's actually happening in your body, and I'm going to give you something most women never get: clarity on exactly where to start. Okay, so let me guess how this started for you. Maybe one morning you reached for the jeans that fit fine last month, or maybe that little black dress in your closet, the perfect shaped one, right? But those jeans wouldn't zip, or the little black dress was a little tighter than usual. Maybe instead you all of a sudden one day looked in the mirror and didn't recognize the puffy, tired, and completely exhausted woman staring back at you. Or maybe you just looked at her and said, "When did I turn into my mom?" Right? So at work, maybe you're searching for words, that used to come instantly. Maybe you need three coffees just to get through that 3 p.m. meeting when all you really want to do is take a nap under your desk. Okay. And maybe when you get home, you're too exhausted to show up for your family, too exhausted to head out with the girls for a beverage, too exhausted to even think about going on that dream vacation you've always wanted to take. Maybe you think, oh, I'll just, eat less and exercise more. Maybe I'm not trying hard enough. Maybe it's just aging. Maybe it's just the way it is. Okay. But here's what you're not hearing. This isn't a willpower problem. Okay? And you need to know that it's not a willpower problem. Your hormones have changed. Your body chemistry has changed. And because of this, every cell in your body has changed. Okay. So, what you need are the new rules because your body needs new rules. Your hormones are playing by new rules. Your chemistry is playing by new rules. And you have nutrition, new nutritional needs. Okay. So, that's the problem with most menopause advice. Most menopause advice, you're getting strategies from gym bros who never had a hot flash, from 25-year-old influencers selling meal plans for bodies that don't have chemistry that matches yours. From doctors dismissing you as it's just aging, your labs are fine, right? When you know you're not fine. You know what's happening to you just hasn't showed up on your labs yet because you know your body more than anybody. So these are all treating symptoms without understanding the systems behind those symptoms. Because menopause isn't one simple switch that turns off. I sure wish it was, right? It's a massive recalibration of a complex chemical system in your body, hundreds of thousands of variables, all interrelated. And when you don't understand which system is driving which symptom, you waste years trying fixes that can't possibly work. And, let me show you what I mean. Before menopause, so before perimenopause, your body had a master regulator, estrogen. Okay. Think of estrogen as a badass CEO of your metabolism, right? So you have a metabolic company and estrogen is your CEO. It keeps every department running smoothly. Estrogen kept your insulin sensitivity so that your blood sugar stayed stable. Estrogen balanced your stress hormones so that your cortisol didn't wreck you. Estrogen supported your thyroid. It protected your brain. It strengthened your bones. It guarded your heart. It helped with even elasticity in your skin. Everything was interconnected and everything was balanced. The system worked beautifully for decades for you until, well, until it didn't, right? Until perimenopause begins. And then estrogen doesn't just decline smoothly, it can fluctuate wildly. It can spike one day and crash the next until eventually declining. And when estrogen becomes unreliable, every system it used to regulate starts destabilizing. So your insulin stops working properly, and you might notice that you've gained belly fat. Even if you're eating less, your stress hormones, including cortisol, will spike. So you're wired at night, but exhausted during the day. Your thyroid slows, so your metabolism feels broken. Your brain can't make the neurotransmitters it needs, so maybe you're forgetting why you walked in rooms. And here's what most of us are never told. Perimenopause can last up to 10 years. So this isn't a quick transition that happens overnight and it's over, right? You're in a marathon if you're in perimenopause, okay? You're in an estrogen marathon. Eventually, we reach postmenopause. We've gone 12 months without a period, or perhaps surgical menopause, right? The hot flashes and night sweats ease within a few years of reaching menopause. But here's what society doesn't really talk about. We don't really talk about the long-term health effects because menopause is not about a few hot flashes. Okay. It's about our symptoms beyond hot flashes, and it's about our long-term health effects if we do nothing. So without estrogen's protection, your risk of heart disease skyrockets relative to our male counterparts. Your bones thin, so your risk of osteoporosis increases. Your brain becomes more vulnerable to cognitive decline. Your metabolism shifts into a state that makes weight gain almost inevitable. And this isn't just about feeling uncomfortable for a few years or, our favorite black dress being a little tight. It's not about that. Okay. This is about protecting your health for the next 10, 20, 30, 40 years of your life. Now, here's the good news. Okay. In this massive chemical system, there are three major levers that you can actually control. Okay. There's a lot that we can control in this, but we're going to start with three major ones that we can control. The first are the sex hormones, estrogen, progesterone. Okay. These are declining rapidly in perimenopause and um, up down through postmenopause, right? And everything is affected. This is our our hormone, our CEO, right? The second are stress hormones. And we tend to think of cortisol when we think of the stress hormones. So most midlife women have cortisol patterns that are dysregulated from decades of chronic stress, from sleep deprivation, and from overwork. Okay. And the third, we have our sex hormones, our stress hormones, and our blood sugar hormones, primarily insulin. So years of eating patterns that worked when we were 20, 30, maybe even in our early 40s have left you insulin resistant. And now your declining estrogen is making it worse. All three of these systems, our sex hormones, our stress hormones, and our blood sugar hormones, are all interconnected. Okay, but here's the key. One of these is usually the primary driver of your biggest symptom. And until you know which one, we're guessing, right? Until you know which one of these is driving your main system that's disrupting your life, trying to solve that problem, trying to cure the symptom and make it easier, you're just guessing because you don't know what's behind it. You don't know what's driving it. This is why when you tried keto, it worked for 2 weeks and then stopped working. This is why hormone replacement therapy helped your hot flashes, but you're still gaining weight. This is why you cut calories, boost the cardio, and your metabolism just crashes harder. You were targeting the wrong system behind that symptom. Okay, so let me show you how these three systems overlap because understanding this changes everything. Okay, when your estrogen drops, it makes insulin less effective. So now you're more insulin resistant than you were before. When your cortisol, your stress hormone, you have many stress hormones, but when cortisol tends to be our driving stress hormone. And when it's high all day, it can spike your blood sugar and make you crave sugar at night. When your blood sugar crashes, your cortisol surges to compensate. That disrupts your sleep. And then guess what? Your poor sleep drops your progesterone. And low progesterone makes your cortisol worse. So you further this cascade and you're a hamster on the wheel. Okay. And when all three are dysregulated at once, you get symptoms that nobody can explain. Okay. The brain fog that makes you panic at work, the exhaustion despite sleeping 8 hours, the 20 pounds gained when you're eating less and working out more than ever. And it's not just these three hormonal systems. Of course, it's more complex than that. When your hormones shift, the ripple effect touches every single system in your body. Okay, your brain can't make the neurotransmitters it used to. So your memory and your mood are both affected. Your GI system becomes more sensitive, and you're bloating after every meal. Maybe you're noticing food intolerances that you never had. Your adrenals are exhausted from decades of chronic stress. Your thyroid tries to compensate but can't keep up. Your liver's working overtime to process everything. Your cardiovascular system loses its estrogen protection, right? Which is why our risk of heart disease increases. Your bones start thinning. Your nutritional needs change. Literally, the mitochondria in every single cell of your body are affected. Okay, they're changing and adapting to this new chemical environment. So, this affects us right down to the cellular level. This is why you can't just take a supplement and eat less and expect it to work. It doesn't work. It won't work. So, with this complex chemical system and hundreds of thousands of variables, where do we even start? Right? It can feel very overwhelming because all of these systems are interacting and changing one affects everything, maybe not in a good way. But you can start by knowing your driving hormonal system, whether it's your sex hormones, estrogen and progesterone, your stress hormones, cortisol, or your blood sugar hormones like insulin. Okay. If your sex hormones are the primary driver, you're dealing with hot flashes and mood swings. And if you're perimenopause, irregular cycles that can affect your sleep. Okay. So if it's cortisol and stress hormones, maybe you're wired at night and exhausted and anxious all day, and you just can't turn your brain off, even when you're exhausted. If it's your blood sugar hormones, maybe you have intense cravings. Maybe your afternoon energy is crashing. Maybe belly flat that you can't lose. Maybe brain fog, especially after meals. So once you know which system is driving your one symptom that's affecting your life the most, you can stop guessing and start targeting your solution. So here's what I want you to do right now. I want you to go take the MiniQ scorecard. It takes less than 2 minutes, right? And it's free. It'll answer a few simple questions, right? You'll just go through, answer a few simple questions about your symptoms, and it'll tell you which hormonal system is likely driving your weight gain or your exhaustion or your sleepless nights or your brain fog. That's your starting point. So pause the video, go take the quiz,